Alright, welcome to Blockbuster Backrooms, my first ever episode where we will be reviewing horror movies. Basically, we'll have a wee little walkthrough of the whole movie and we'll look at what was and wasn't enjoyable and maybe just pull it apart a little bit. Now, our first movie today is A Dark Song, which is a 2016 horror movie directed and written by Liam Gavin. It's about two people casting a ritual and the goal of contacting an angel who will grant them each a wish. The ritual itself is grueling, precise, long, and I have some mixed feelings about it. So let's dive in. The movie opens with a quote from the Bible, "For he shall give his angels charge over thee, to keep thee in all their ways." Not being a particularly Bible-fearing lady, I looked up the verse and, well, I think I got the wrong variation because it wasn't quite written the same as what appeared in the movie. But it made sense with the context of the film, so I dug no deeper. It basically talks about God and angels protecting you as long as you're proper and accept God and the like. I'm sure I'll probably get called out on this by someone who knows a lot more and understands it a lot better. But let's move on, as I believe it's something your average viewer has a 50-50 chance of knowing about, and an even lesser chance of knowing the verse or its meaning fully. We follow Sophia, our main character, as we cut between scenes of her driving through a rather bleak countryside to her walking through a house with a realtor. She's very short to him with both her questions and answers. From the get-go, she's kinda rude, and it was honestly quite a turn-off for me. I don't really like her. She even ignores the realtor's questions at one point, despite it being just him trying to be polite. Maybe it gets to me more because I work in customer service, and I understand his pain. But honestly, if you're like me, and you dislike rude characters, buckle down, y'all. Because in this movie, everyone sucks. She bribes a realtor so that no one disturbs her for the year that she's at the house. And this is where we meet Joseph, our only other real character in the film. She takes him to view the house, and it's Gucci, fits the requirements. They talk about some of the ritual, and Sophia shows she's taking it really seriously, as she's already started purging and preparing herself. When asked why she's doing the ritual, she says it's for love. She loves someone and they don't love me anymore. No joke, y'all. Our man Joseph walked straight out. Doesn't even say a word. Full on made me laugh. He refuses to do the ritual over something as stupid as that. Eventually, Sophia admits to him that it's because her son's dead and she wants to talk to him again. That being said, Joseph agrees to help her. "I thought it would be too much," she says when he asks why she lied. He then asks her if it's the truth, because her being truthful is super important, and she says it is. The movie is made up of a lot of scenes of our peeps working through and preparing the ritual. Joseph warns her how hard it is and lists some of the things it involves. However, Sophia's all over it. She really wants to do it. For one of the last few outside scenes, the two are sitting in front of a bonfire, and Joseph starts talking to her in a couple of different languages. I assume asking her if she can speak them. He soon cuts himself and asks her, in English, if she can speak Dutch, and she says she can make herself understood. And our boy Joseph gets mad because she lied. He explains that everything has a consequence in the ritual, and that a half-truth is a lie. It's explained and shown how serious this is. Not to mention, this is the second time there's been an emphasis on not lying. And remember this, because I'm going to get real salty about it later. The next day, Joseph's made a salt circle around the house and gives Sophia one last chance to back out before sealing it. There's no going back now. Time passes, and the next morning, Sophia's sleeping in. So Joseph throws water on her and yells at her to get up. She's real pissy about it, and honestly, that's a lot of this movie. Sophia won't or doesn't do something. Joseph yells at her, so she does it. But like an edgy teenager or sulky with a weird, rude attitude. To be honest, they're both greatly unlikable characters, but at least Joseph has a real reason to be so upset all the time. And I did actually grow to like Joseph on my second or third viewing of the movie. Right after the sleep scene, Joseph tells Sophia to eat a toadstool, and she's like, "It's a toadstool." And the whole time, I'm just, it's what you were signed up for, bro. Oh my lord. If you're upset about eating a spooky mushroom, maybe you should have thought a bit harder before committing to a hardcore ritual. As the film continues, Joseph explains the symbols he's drawing and what the separate rooms are for. We start to see parts of a ritual being performed, and a lot of it looks like grueling work, and almost meditation-like torture. These scenes were actually interesting. I gotta give props for the ritual work not being lame or cheesy. A few spooky things start happening, like a door opens by itself. During a break, Sophia asks Joseph when the ritual will start working, and he says it already has, like the fact he can hear a dog barking at night, despite being in the middle of nowhere, which I also believe might be a callback to a dog carcass Sophia found earlier in the movie, and the fact that a bird flew into the window just before as well. We get more scenes of the symbols and their meanings as the ritual progresses. The symbols get more intricate, and I'm gonna be honest guys, I think they're really beautiful. The amount of work and design in them is amazing. It's been explained, each circle can take weeks to master, and the symbol is made up of all these circles, and it's basically how we'll be calling the angel. At one stage, the ritual calls for forgiveness, and Sophia's all like, "I don't do forgiveness," and makes Joseph find a way around it. The only other option is a blood sacrifice, where Sophia drinks Joseph's blood. Y'all, she's complaining the whole time. What about the diseases? Do you have any? It's blood. But I have no sympathy for her. Like, girl, you chose to be edgy and not do forgiveness. The other option is edgier and was entirely your choice. Oh my lord, she annoys me so much. Okay, it's gross. Yeah, I understand, and really wouldn't want to do it either. But it was still your choice. You do low-key learn why she made this choice later, but it just doesn't change my opinion on the scene. However, there are a few scenes where the two seem to be bonding a bit. Like when they talk about the dreams they've been having, and it's the only time in the movie anyone laughs. And this scene was needed, because it's one of the only scenes that initially made me warm up to the characters a little bit. Our boy Joseph wrecks it though. At one stage, he's painting symbols on Sophia's back, and she unhooks her bra to make the job easier. Our poor boy gets the big horny, and worried he can't properly focus on the ritual, he tells Sophia that they have to have ritualistic sex. He asks her to strip for him, and then just jacks off really fast. Like, really fast. Sophia, for once, rightfully gets pissed, and it's one of the rare moments in the film where it's not annoying and you can actually understand and get behind her anger. However, in context of the film and what she's doing, she should just chill a little bit. And the reason I say this is because, dude, she full on pisses in a cup and puts it into the cooking before leaving it for Joseph to eat. And I understand this will be a point where a lot of people may not agree with me. Don't get me wrong, Joseph was way out of line as well, and what he did was not okay, and he does need to be held accountable for his actions. He should have been honest with Sophia, and if she refused, He should have accepted that and just jacked it in his room like everyone else. However, when you're prepared to have ritualistic sex, I think pissing in someone's food because they stroked it to you is just a little bit too far. I think my problem just keeps stemming back to the fact that it's a hardcore ritual, and that Sophia not only agreed to do it, but she actually hassled Joseph into helping her, as the other two people she asked before him refused to help. Yet she goes about everything in a rude, sulky, passive-aggressive way. And then, the one time I can support her anger, she takes her revenge a little too far for my full support to still be there. Time goes on, and our girl is super duper pissed. She complains it's not working, and just wants to leave. Joseph's genuinely scared and panicked when she moves to leave, and tells her it can sometimes take 2 or 3 goes to work. His reaction is super genuine, and the scene hits hard. So they start again. I know I've been ragging on Sophia a lot throughout this, but despite everything, I do have to give her points for eventually doing and completing every task. Our babes start again, and eventually Sophia finds some flowers in the hallway and finally gets positive. Excited even. She soon gets angry again though, as nothing's happening once more. At this point, Joseph calls her out for lying, and you know what? She has been. It's revealed her kid had been killed by some teenagers who are trying to do a ritual of their own, and I can't even feel bad for her when she reveals this information, because it was stressed so much to her that honesty was important, that even a half-truth or a white lie was incredibly detrimental, and this is the 3rd time it's happened. Babe, you're doing this dangerous ritual, but you keep lying and keep arguing with the one guy who knows what he's doing. Nothing happening is your fault. In fact, a solid 90% of the problems arising are your fault. Joseph's rightfully pissed and tells Sophia to fuck off as he starts poring through his books trying to find a solution. He eventually finds a way, but is clearly upset about it. He gets Sophia to sit in a bathtub one night and starts reciting some stuff while he dips her under the water. Kinda like a baptism, I think. And surprise, surprise, he eventually drowns her on the last dip. He recites some more lines before pulling her out of the water and giving her CPR to bring her back. Sophia is pissed, and I mean, I would be too if you just killed me. But once again, I have no sympathy for her. Sorry, dude, you brought this on yourself. Consequences, bro. She's so mad, however, that she pushes Joseph, which I mean, fair enough. However, he slams into the countertop and ends up having a knife pierce through his side. He tells her that it's her angel getting him back for what he did. Getting on with the ritual as quick as possible now, we get some scenes of Joseph alone, checking his wound. It's badly infected, and honestly, kinda disgusting. While this is happening, Sophia starts to see and hear things, like her son on the opposite side of the door. She's smart enough to know it's not him, so at least I can give her that. She still talks to him so she can hear her son's voice in a very bittersweet scene. The scene's really good. Emotional, but the character's smart enough about what they're doing in that moment. That night, Sophia lays with Joseph to try and help comfort him, and he ends up crying. Bro, that one got me hard. It's a genuinely sad scene, and he really didn't deserve this. Despite being a rather rude and bad person, Joseph is actually a likable character. He grew on me as I watched the movie, and I actually feel bad for this guy. The next morning, Sophia leaves him lying there, in bed. I assume she thinks he's dead, 'cause if not, I'd be pretty mad. Sophia soon goes to check the books Joseph had been working out of, only to find everything's blacked out. Not knowing what to do, she leaves. Her car doesn't work, so she walks. And she walks, and eventually finds a house. But whoops, it's one that she just left. Going inside reveals Joseph wasn't dead when she left, but he is now, with a trail of vomit and blood left behind him. I was legitimately kinda sad at his death though. That night, Sophia watches from the top of the stairs as Joseph's body gets dragged away into the darkness. Upstairs in the hallway, the candle Sophia was using goes out, and it leads to a scene I really like. She sits in the hallway and strikes a match, which reveals a group of damned. Now, I hesitate to call them demons, and I'll explain why in a bit. Anywho, her match goes out, and as she relights the candle, the hallway's empty. Why we didn't try to grab her then? I don't know. It doesn't make too much sense, but it looks cool. Sophia makes a move towards her bedroom, some of the damned chasing her. She pushes a chair against the door and hunkers down. Now, this may be a little bit nitpicky, but I'm pretty confident I saw a lock on her door, one of those little sliding bolt ones. I don't know about you, but I'd be using the heck out of that bad boy. The scene ends with her son's voice talking to her from the other side of the door as she falls asleep. In the morning, she walks through the house, only to be greeted by an old lady with her son, who steps out of the shadows towards her. Sophia moves back and gets bonked on the head by a random damned. She's dragged downstairs, and this is why I hesitate to say demons or even hell. Maybe it's because pop culture has warped my sense of what demons and hell should look like, but everything is super grey and ashy. Even the damned are grey, so it makes me feel as if there's more of a limbo situation going on. That not so sweet spot between heaven and hell. However, the dog that's popped up throughout the movie is there, and that makes me think of hellhounds. Plus, when Sophia escapes, the damned are chasing and reaching after her, trying to pull her back, creating a visual example of being dragged to hell. I think the idea of limbo just sits better with me, and maybe it's because it's a lesser used concept than just straight up hell, so I find it more interesting. Sophia also runs past Joseph's body on her escape. He's the only other non-grey thing down there. Maybe he's unjudged. Maybe it takes some time to happen. In fact, it could be a limbo for those not good enough for heaven, but not outright bad enough for hell. The babes there fall into a bit of a grey area, if you will. As Sophia tries to escape, she says she's sorry, and as she apologises, a bright white light appears, dispersing the damned. Upstairs, she finally meets her angel, and I've got to be honest, guys, I think he looks heckin' tacky. He's a huge man kneeling on one leg with a big sword. He has a helmet, shoulder plates, and some gold dangly coin-shaped plates hanging over his chest with a long gold skirt. I know it's meant to be like a robe around his waist, but I don't dig it. He also has a super bright white light around him. The close-up of his face was really cool though, with these glowing white eyes bordered by his helmet. A composition shift would have made it avoid that cheesy, tacky feeling while making the overall effect and scene a lot cooler. Sometimes less is more, you know? He says something to Sophia that she can only hear, and I can't read lips, but I'm guessing he's asking her what she wants from him. She asks for the power to forgive, and the angel nods. The end of the scene cuts to and from Sophia talking to the angel, to her pushing a body, fully wrapped in cloth, out into the lake outside. Stacey got Joseph back and is giving him a nice send-off, putting him to rest. We then watch as she gets into her car and drives away. She's going home. The movie ends with Sophia passing a car on the road, driving onwards, teary-eyed and able to forgive and accept what happened to her son. Now, when checking on some things about the film, I learned that the ritual is actually based off a real one, which is actually pretty cool, and probably one of the reasons the ritual casting scenes came across good and not cheesy or cliche. I also read that demons are described as shadow-like originally, so my limbo idea was way off. Pop culture has definitely warped my sense of what it should all look like. But the demons' designs were cool and refreshing. They worked well and didn't come across as tacky or over the top, which is more than I can say for the angel. The music in A Dark Song is really good too, by far my favourite thing about the film. It's a dope mixture of violins, bass drums, and the odd piano. It really sets the mood of the movie, and it always makes me real happy when I hear it. It definitely stands out, and without it, the movie would lose so much. All in all, A Dark Song is an okay-ish film. I personally really dislike the main characters, and it's hard to care about someone and what's happening to them in a movie when you hate them. Although, I do think some people will enjoy this movie. It is a slow burn though, so keep that in mind when you go to watch it. To be honest, I actually hated the film the first time I watched it. But as I rewatched it over and over and over for this review, I came to be okay with it. If you want enjoyable characters and something fun, I really suggest avoiding this one. Anyway, thank you for listening. This is my first ever review, and I look forward to growing and progressing with all of you. If you'd like to let me know your thoughts, re-listen, or hear some of my upcoming reviews, you can find me across most social media platforms such as Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube at Shit-imma-artist. That's IMMA, because we don't use real grammar around here. You can also find my reviews on the Manawatu People's Radio website. Until next time, you dudes have a good night.